All right, we're streaming again. We tried this off. This is take two, 90 Degree Show, volume two. Look, it's take two, volume two. So let's go ahead and get this started off right. And we're starting it now at 10 o'clock here. So at least I guess we started at the top of the hour. But let's go ahead and get started. You're welcome into the 90 Degree Show. Thanks again for listening. Here we go.
Welcome to the 90 Degree Show, the sports center for college marching bands where we recap the ultimate battles from this weekend. And now, here's our host, the Phantom Podcaster himself, Joe Beard.
All right, welcome everyone to the 90 Degree Show. I'm your host, Joe Beard. Happy to be of service for you. We appreciate all those listening through iTunes, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, our website, our blog, or wherever you are on the interwebs. At the end of the broadcast, if you decide you like the show, then we appreciate a donation to the network if you feel so in your heart, of course. Just simply go to themarchingpodcast.com and click on the donate button to help improve the show and help build our scholarship fund. Tonight's show is brought to you by Block Band Music and Publishing, SAY Marketing and Promotions, blockusup.com, and Kevin P. of Remax Patriots. We hope you enjoy the show. All right, we are 2 of 3 tonight, and we want to welcome one of our esteemed panelists, the owner and founder of the one and only Block Band Music and Publishing, Mr. Rashad Waters. How you doing tonight in this podcast, sir?
You forget the title, man. You forget the title. I can't even respond to that.
I'm sorry. The Raven. Wait. I'm saying. I said the Raven. hold on. Let me. My
bad. Quoth the Raven, nevermore.
You say what now?
I said, quoth the Raven, nevermore.
I know. My bad. The owner and founder of Block Band Music and Publishing, the one and only, the regal Rashad Waters. What's going on tonight in this podcast, sir?
What's going on? What's happening, man? Doing fantastic here on take 2 of volume 2. Even better than take 1.
Yeah, shout out to all the people that may have been listening to the first one. And if, I was like a little loud with my family because they knocked off my modem, don't tell nobody else. But yeah, that's how it was. But we appreciate if you are watching us again. So how you doing tonight, Rashad?
Yeah, man, just doing fantastic. Ready to talk about some bands, man. Favorite topic in the world.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. That is outstanding. So tonight, what we're going to talk about, this week was what I call Blowout Week, and I put that in the episode description. But essentially, what Blowout Week is, and I'll say this after the break, but to me, this is the week where a lot of schools go out and play these major programs for these huge payouts, like $1 million or $400,000, $800,000, and for me personally, I will get into how I feel about that. I want to ask Rashad how he feels about it, especially us as being HBCU graduates. Also, we want to get into some of the bands that we have seen this year. So this week was kind of slow. So like I said, those matchups were off. So we didn't have a lot of your traditional like BCU versus Tennessee State, but we can talk about some of the matchups from last week. Bethune-Cookman and Tennessee State played each other, which was another good matchup, so we'll get into that. And Rashad saw Southern. I saw a tape of Southern, too. We'll talk about that. Rashad also saw A&T. So we'll get into that, talk about how he felt about that. And, again, if you guys are listening or watching, go ahead and say what's going on in the chat room. Say hello or do whatever. Give us your 2 cents about what's going on. And, again, we appreciate you following along and you listening. All right. So, Rashad, anything going on? Anything new for you that you did this week, man, before we get started?
New stuff, man. I just went to, I've been there before. but it's just my second time going. It's a new restaurant in Durham called Mavericks, and you guys got to check out this place. Of course, Durham is number 8 in the whole nation when it comes to food, and this place is just continuing in that tradition. One of the things that I like about the place is that you can choose your own barbecue. If you didn't know it, there is a huge battle or debate between who's got the best barbecue. And of course, North Carolina often claims the throne. The throne often claims the throne as well. Whatever words you want to use.
My bad. My bad.
Hey, if I got wrong words, I don't mind being booed for it. But yeah, man. So there's a big rivalry between the vinegar-based barbecue of North Carolina and the tomato-based barbecue of other places, as well as Memphis has its own. And this place, you can use whatever barbecue sauce that you like. So that's awesome. Even though I don't like barbecue, I still like it because other people can choose what they want. Me personally, I love the smokehouse chicken that they have, and so it was just an amazing place. I definitely recommend it.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Me, I didn't do anything too much different. We in the midst of school. I think everybody across the country now has started school. We've been in for like about a month now, but yeah,
Okay.
just did the same old, going to work, take care of the family. I did order some new furniture though, so I was all
Oh,
excited about that. I have not bought any
okay.
furniture since I've been to California. So that's been
Okay.
12 years. I came out here. I had a sofa, but my frat brother gave me like one of his. Like when he moved into a house, and he gave me a old one, and that was like
Hmm.
me saying that I was getting a new couch. But I got a kitchen table, yo, and I got a new
Okay.
sofa. And then once I put that in there, I ended up like cleaning up the whole place because like I didn't feel like I wanted to just put it down and the rest of the stuff. So I got
Right.
all organized, yo. So I was all
That's all right.
excited. Yeah, I was all excited.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
So just you might just not be paying your alumni dues this year or next year, but
No,
you make the
no.
move.
No. I'm straight. I'm definitely straight. You guys make sure you pay all your alumni dues. Make sure you get active with your alumni association. All right. Let's go ahead and take a real quick break, and then I want to ask you, Rashad, about Blowout Week, and then we'll start talking about these bands. And we hope you're following along. You're listening to the 90 Degree Show, or you're watching the 90 Degree Show, brought to you by the March Podcast. Thanks again for listening. We will be right back after this commercial break.
Your host, Joe Beard, and the 90 Degree Show will return in a moment.
Band directors, have you ever found yourselves in this situation? Showtime is quickly approaching. Your budget is quickly disappearing. Your music choices are narrowing. The equipment condition is wearing and your stress level is mounting. Stop what you're doing and contact Block Band Music and find out how we've got you. Check www.blockbandmusic.com, providing music, equipment, gear, and accessories to show style, core style, and traditional bands worldwide.
Hello, this is Dr. Joel Beard, Jackson State alumnus, 1966. I marched in the Jackson State Marching Band, which is then called the best band in the land. And you are now listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
And now, more of the 90 Degree Show with your host, Joe Beard.
All right, we are back. Thanks again for listening. So we are here to talk about this Blowout Week. I just want to ask you, Rashad, because I know we kind of talked about it already. But so I called it Blowout Week because usually these scores are like off the chain,
Hmm.
and there's been a lot of discussion about it. I'm sure that there's been a lot of avenues but discussed. But basically, let's say for instance, like I said, Jackson State or somebody will go to, you know, Alabama, University of Alabama, or University of Miami, and they will play these schools. They'll play a game against these schools, and of course, it's a massacre. It's usually like
Mm-hmm.
70-3, or like
The score
something.
was actually 63-9 with Auburn versus Alabama State.
Yes, yes, something like that. And then it's just like demoralizing. And then they get a check. Maybe they get $800,000 or whatever, and then they have to go back to school. And then they'll start their normal season, I guess, for the rest of the season. I always feel bad because I hate seeing the scores. And
Hmm.
if all of course, a whole bunch of black kids wanted to actually go to and attend black schools, maybe the score wouldn't be so bad. I remember some years back, Morehouse played Kentucky,
Hmm.
they lost by like 85 points, yo. It's the 85 points. Like
Uh,
and it was like the Kentucky. These kids is black now. They were all like turned up, like dunking and like schooling these dudes. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was like
uh,
it always like it gets me angry. The last time I talked about this with someone was Kelly Charles. Shout out to Kelly Charles, alumni at Grambling. She was talking about how the boy from, I believe, Grambling, or was it Southern? It was one of the two. Somebody went and played University of Georgia a couple years ago, and he ended up getting paralyzed.
oh
Um,
man.
I think I can't remember his name, but he was either Grambling or Southern, but he
Hmm.
paralyzed, because the players were so much bigger. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, and in fact, he got hurt with the punter. Like this guy ran and ran into the punter, and then he got hurt. So I've always, yeah, I mean, I've always just not been a fan of it. And I just wish there was something other than they getting these paychecks. I know the coach at Texas Southern, Mike Davis, I believe, he takes his students at Texas Southern to like University of Washington, and they be like on the
Hmm.
bus. They be like on the bus, yo. They go to University of Washington. They go to like University of Indiana, all these schools, and they say, "Oh, well, we actually play in these stadiums, and one day we'll win." But the amount of taxing, on the students
Hmm.
just to get that paycheck. Rashad, how do you feel, man? Do you like that we actually have to do this, or I mean, what is your take about the whole issue?
First of all, your name for it, Blowout Week, is that original or did you get that from
No,
someplace?
yeah, I just made that up. Blowout week was just like this because I mean that's basically what they are. Like they don't never
That
be
is
close. You know what I'm saying?
that that is hilarious to me because I'm like when y'all were texting about, it, I'm like, what the heck is Blowout Week? I'm thinking of some type of band thing. Yeah, that's hilarious. But no, man, you know what? I'm not mad at it at all. First of all, I would take money to get my butt kicked. I mean, what do you think fighting Mike Tyson is all about? Go in there, you last a little while, you get a couple $1 million, you call it a day. You know, um, but seriously, taking the money for that to me is an opportunity to then take those funds, reinvest them to continue to make your program better. So I mean, if it's a chance, if it's the difference between not getting $800,000 or whatever the amount is, and getting $800,000 and being able to use that money to potentially hire better coaches or better staff or get better equipment so that you can get better, I would take it all day long. Secondly, to me, you got to see the best in order if you want to be the best. Um, I am the director of the male chorus at our church, and our male chorus is pretty decent. I mean, as male choruses go, I think we're pretty good. But I remember one time we were having our anniversary, and we had a down year, and we had a visiting choir to come through. They're called the 100 Men in Black, and it wasn't 100 of them, but it was a good 20 or 30 of them up there. And normally our guest choirs only sing 2 songs. But since we didn't have a lot of groups, I think we had one other group. The MC let them sing 5 songs. We were only singing 4. But they sang 5 songs and they were amazing. And it just reminded me of being in the band in those times when you just catch a L sometimes. And it has changed me. Like for me as the director, like I always want us to be at our best all the time, all the time. all the time because I never want to be caught off like that again. But if you never catch an L, then you're only going to get so good. So to me, if programs want to continue to improve, I think it's good for you to see these amazing programs. So you can lose 63-9, or like Mississippi Valley did, 71-0, and you can look back and say, okay, why did we lose like that? Like, okay, yeah, we know it's a money thing. We may not have the best players in the nation, but what else was it? Was it the coaching? What type of equipment are they using over there? Are they doing anything psychologically? Are they watching videos? What is it that they're doing? Because if you're the best in your group, you're never going to be good. Just another thing, when I went to high school, I was definitely the best trombone player in my high school, so I had a big head. But when I got to Hampton, I was sorry. I mean, I was literally sorry, and I was a decent trombone player. But seeing them and catching an L to these amazing trombone players, it inspired in me the desire to be great. And it's not all of us are losing like that. I'm sure Christy would jump up here real quick and talk about the fact that A&T just beat Gardner Webb. I don't know how good Gardner Webb is, but it's not like we have to take these L's all the time. We can get better and win.
Yeah. Now I still get excited when I see those. Now, like
Mm.
you said, Gardner Webb. If I see Gardner Webb up, and like if someone wins, I'll get excited. Or when you see the what you call it, the NCAA tournament, and I think
Hmm.
the last major one that happened was Norfolk beat University of Missouri, I think.
Hmm.
So that was cool. So I get excited about those. Now Gardner Webb, they're smaller, so I don't get as
Hmm.
excited if somebody beat like Auburn or something like that. You
But
remember
they beat ECU the week before.
who beat ECU?
A&T did.
North Carolina A&T beat East Carolina.
Yeah.
Way to go A&T! I didn't know that.
Don't play that. Don't. We don't need all that clapping. We don't. Christy's not even watching the video right now, and her head is just getting bigger right now as we
I
speak.
know, right, right. Well, no, I didn't know that. Well, hey, I mean, see, well, that's good. So, I mean, hey, I guess to your point, every once in a blue moon when it happens and we win, I guess we could get happy about it. But man, just the majority of the time seeing like Savannah State lose to my University of Miami, like that game has been going on, I guess, the last 3 years, and Miami
Mm.
puts up 70 on them every time, man. And I just hate. I
Well,
mean, I just hate seeing the scores. And then the other thing too is like, okay, they're using that money for their program. A lot of people are saying that a lot of the school really, and I guess that depends on the school if they allocating those funds correctly and all of that.
mhm.
But I mean, man, I don't know how that helps the program. I mean, it's the money wise, but then at the same time, let's say someone wants to go to Savannah State, or maybe someone in that area, and it's just like, man, we get drugged by Miami, or like I guess maybe they use that as a recruiting tool. It's like, oh, maybe we play Miami every year. I don't know. That's
Mhm.
that's just kind of that's a tough one for me because I just wish that it wasn't so unbalanced. I wish it was more even. You know what I mean?
Well, the other thing, and I forgot to mention this is, and I hate to say it, but it's an opportunity for our bands.
That's true.
Because they go out and play against these majority schools with these big crowds, and our bands just crush. They crush their little pet bands up
That's
there,
true.
and they just do it amazing. It's great exposure for our band programs, and an opportunity for lots of other people outside of who normally goes to HBCU football game to say, "Wow, that those bands are amazing." And the more exposure that we get in that way, I think it's better. I mean, to me, that's the type of way like a band like Southern gets additional media exposure. Like I think they were playing. I can't remember who it was last year, but it was definitely appearing all over Facebook and on the news for their performance against some PWC last year.
Yeah, and I think they play like Adele, or like they may play a certain song, and that'll get a lot of attention. So you're right.
Hmm.
I guess there is some positives in it, but man, like how those players feel to like get on a bus and go so many hours. Because I remember, I think last year they were talking about some of the schools are like on buses, like they're not chartering flights or anything like that, but they're getting on a
Hmm.
bus and going like 12 hours and then get off the bus and then play 3 hours, get toe out the frame,
Mm-hmm.
and then take the check and then go back. You know what I mean? Like, it would be the bomb. Is the team taking them out to dinner or taking them like something like right immediately afterwards? Like, do they see some direct part of that money or something like that? That might be all right too. But yeah, I just hate
Mm.
seeing it, man. To be honest with you, at the end
I
of the
mean,
day.
you don't want to get beat up, get better. I mean, that's that's how I look at it.
Yeah, that was tough. That was tough. All right, so that's the one bit of news. The other bit of news, I guess we said that was because this week was so. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and we'll get into uh, Bethune and Tennessee State.
All right.
We saw them last week. They had a fifth and they had a halftime battle. These are our two like premier programs. I think Tennessee State is like underrated. I think that being in that other conference kind of hurts them a little bit, but they are underrated. They
Mm.
are a premier program. So it was good to see them, and it was a really good thing. So Rashad, I'm gonna ask you here my little list of questions here. What did
Okay.
you think about the halftime show? You know what? Who do you think looked better in the halftime show?
Oh, Bethune Cookman looked much better. Um, Something was happening in Tennessee State show. I don't understand exactly what it was. Like they were doing different formations, and it seemed like it was supposed to be like mirror images, but like it seemed like one whole line, like not just a squad, but one whole line did their step two backwards.
Oh
And
wow.
so if you look at it, like everything is mirrored except for like one part. Again, the home side is west, so therefore it was the south side. If you look at it again, there was something happening with the south side. Like it's just like that doesn't look right. And I swear, I think what happened was one squad messed up, and the rest of the whole line just followed them instead of doing what they were supposed to do. You know, so I guess I guess you try to fix it, but I don't know. They and just in general, Tennessee State just didn't look as good as they normally do to me. So Bethune looked amazing. I mean, them straight lines that they have, man, there's optical illusions when you look at them and you can see all these diagonals in their block. Yeah, they look great.
Yeah, Bethune. I think I had the same thing. Yeah, I did. I had, but Bethune, they are traditionally just uniform, and I think I
Mm-hmm.
called it the Nintendo Tecmo Bowl. You know, the crowd and how they was
Mm-hmm.
basically all the same. They still are the
Right.
same with that. I mean, they are really
Mm-hmm.
good. And when I was watching them, watching the tape, I said, "Man, this band is consistent and has been consistent throughout, a good bit of time. I think Jackson State's kind
Mm-hmm.
of been consistent, but Bethune, I mean, consistent with their execution. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they just look good. And then this being the first game of the year, they coming out of band camp looking really, really nice like that. So
Right.
Donovan Wells is just doing a really good job. You have to give him a round of applause here.
Mm-hmm.
They're just doing a really good job up there at Bethune Cookman and being consistent with it.
Well, he said, if you don't want to be perfect, get the F away from me on
yeah,
Netflix.
yeah.
So,
Oh, that's right. You know what? That's actually a really good thing. Have you got a chance to see the marching orders show yet?
yes, it was a great show. Way too much auxiliary, but it was a great show. And we need more of Donovan Wells because he was the star. Like him and his quotes, boy, and him going off on the band, amazing. But it was a great show. I really liked it.
I'm glad you said that because I'm definitely going to check that out. I I myself saw it. I guess like when it came out, and I was like, oh snap, getting some Bethune getting a pub. So, and I'm glad you brought it up. I probably should have talked about it on the show, but I think I'm gonna try to check it out, and then we'll probably talk about it. Are you guys? You guys are talk about that on color commentary? Are you?
No,
Okay. Well, yeah, man. We can talk about it on here, man. I'm gonna check it out, and then yeah, we'll check it out. I wish
okay.
Hampton or Jackson State was on Netflix though. I mean, dang,
Yeah, that'd be great.
man, that'd be dope,
Partic-
man.
right, particularly with us building right now, it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. See, that would be a good little plot or a good little something to have. Um,
Mm-hmm.
All right. So yeah, we looks like we both agree on that one. About I think we both thought Bethune looked better.
Hmm.
Now as far as the sound go, Rashad, who do you think sounded better?
Oh, that's hard to say. I probably would put them tit for tat. Maybe maybe Bethune sounded better on one thing, and Tennessee State sounded better on the other. But I think they're both great sounding bands, and I think they would pretty much be at the same place. Maybe I would give Bethune just a little bit more. That slow song that they did. I want to talk to you. Come and talk. Yeah, come and talk to me. Whatever it goes. It's
Jodeci,
by
the
Jodeci.
Jodeci,
Yeah.
yeah.
hmm I thought that was good. I don't know if it was up to their normal standards as far as slow songs are concerned, but and maybe it was just the video I was watching. Like the video I was watching of them, it just the energy just didn't seem to be there in general. Like I don't know something about the video itself. I don't know. Maybe it was just way far away. I couldn't tell, but maybe Bethune Cookman sounded a little bit better.
Hmm.
Um, but Bethune didn't do a slow song at all, so there's that. So I would really put them pretty much at the same place.
Yeah, yeah. I'm. It's slight for me too. And only reason why I said Bethune a little bit more is because Bethune seems to have like a deeper sound. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's full. Both of them are full, but Tennessee State seems to have like more of a brighter sound for me.
Mm-hmm.
And Bethune is like they are like it's rich. So like it's
Mm-hmm.
depth. You know what I'm saying? It's got
Right.
some meat with it. You know what I'm saying? And then it's
Mm-hmm.
got
Right.
got the like little bass boost in your headphones. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Uh.
it's slight, but yeah, like you said, they both sound good. But yeah, for
Mm-hmm.
me, it was a little bit more with Bethune, and like I said, that deep depth of sound, that fullness, that low those low tones. You know what I'm saying? That humming. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that more with that. Now as far as the halftime, we're talking about halftime now.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you
That's all
think?
I can talk
Yeah.
about.
Okay. Okay. Well, the fifth was just like 20 minutes, so I got
uh,
I saw it. I can say my little 2 cents about it. But what do you think about the actual drill? Who do you think had the better drill for the halftime show?
Again, that's by default. That's going to be Bethune because of what was going on that I mentioned earlier with Tennessee State.
Right. Right. I had Bethune too. They had a good drill. I thought Tennessee State had a good drill, one of the better ones I had seen. But I think I talked about this last week. When you do a hard show, we can't give you the credit for doing the hard show. You got to execute it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
And Tennessee
Mm-hmm.
State they had a good show. They had a good drill, but like you said, the execution wasn't there. So like you said, I think they won
Mm-hmm.
kind of by default. Whereas if they did execute, Tennessee State would have won that. Would have had a better drill. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then what I got over there. What was the best part of the halftime show in either school?
Just overall, just Bethune in general, just seeing them. I mean, they're just from top to bottom. They are just. I'm not a Bethune hater like a lot of people are. I'm disappointed that they don't. They're not as original as I would like to see them.
Hmm.
But I mean, hands down, man, they're good. They're tight, man. I mean, they march the same. They look the same. It's just always. They're always going to sound good. They're always going to perform well. I mean, so just Bethune from top to bottom, particularly again watching them make their slants during the dance routine and just seeing all those straight lines is just it's just so amazing to watch them.
I agree again. They had, and like I've always said this, I like drill. I appreciate drill, so I always look for who has the better drill and who's more precise. And I always kind of lean towards that band having the better show. So Bethune had the better drill, um, but the thing I did like about Tennessee State show, they played "Come and Talk to Me,"
Hmm.
the Jodeci. So yeah, I like that too. And
That's a
they
good choice.
also played, and I think we kind of talked about this a little bit, but they did the "In My Feelings" challenge. So I
Right.
am wondering. I wanted to play a little quick little something over under. Have you played the over under game before, Rashad?
No, what's that?
Okay, so over under is I'll give you like a fact or a statement, and you'll tell me if it's going to be over a number or under a certain number, or you could push and
Okay.
you could say like, oh, okay, like so. For instance, how many in my feelings challenges are we going to see this year in HBCU halftime shows? And I'm going to put the number at 4. All right, number 4. All right, so over under 4.
Oh, over.
4.
Good God. Because
uh,
Bethune did it too, so that's two. And
right.
I think that I saw somebody else do it, so that would be three.
So
Did
yeah, so 4 already.
did Southern do it during that show? Yes, yes. Just Southern did the because that was their main thing. It was like, we want to know, do you love me? Do you love? So that's
Ah.
three right there.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, so yeah, I probably get it too low. I probably should have put it at 10 or something like that.
Hmm.
My son actually did one. So you check out the Marcher podcast on Instagram. My son got a little something on there. So he was all excited to do one. And then my daughter wanted to do it. So yeah, they got all excited about it. But yeah, I know it was sweeping the nation, and that was one thing I thought about. Like right before the season started, I was like, I wonder how many in my feelings challenges they're gonna do. So Tennessee State, but I appreciate it. It's cute. You know what I'm saying? I like the
Hmm.
little fads and the little challenges going on nowadays,
Hmm.
man. What was the worst part of the show? I guess you probably already maybe said it, but the
Yeah,
bad part of the halftime show was Tennessee State's drill.
right, exactly.
Okay. I had Bethune Cookman's dance routine. Like I don't know. Like I don't. I don't know that their dance routine is just. I just didn't really care for it. I felt like it kind of hurt their show a little bit. You know what I mean?
Okay.
The biggest thing, um, and did they spell Aretha? Did they do Aretha? Are they the
Yes,
ones? Okay, okay. And then they did it in cursive. Did you?
yeah. How they did that, how they got to that. The formation was okay, but how they got there was kind of ugly a little
Right,
bit.
right.
At least one of the arcs in particular, it was like that looks kind of sloppy.
Yeah, I didn't care for that part at all. But I don't know. Bethune is not necessarily known for their dance routine, but they keep it uniform, so it's hard to say anything bad about them. I just didn't really care for it this year.
Okay.
And then overall, I guess I think we kind of agree. Who do you think had the better halftime show?
Bethune definitely. Tennessee State, you always have to look out for them because they're going to do some of the most original stuff that you're going to see. They'll spell your doggone zip code or your area code. They'll make the area code. You know, they'll make Pac-Man eating stuff. I mean, they'll do all kinds of stuff. And they just didn't do anything. They just went out and made Aretha and played some music. I don't know. It was a it was definitely a letdown for Tennessee State. And even outside of the fact that they do all these amazing things, I just didn't feel like it was Tennessee State in general. Like I felt like I was watching some other band, and they only had like 16 sousaphones. So I don't know what happened to all those sousaphones because they had like 3 rows of sousaphones at one point. So I don't know. Bethune Cookman, they're always going to do the same type of stuff, but they're good at it, and they definitely were the better band that day.
Yeah, I think minus the execution and like the mishaps, I think Tennessee State would have had a better show though. You know what I mean? I don't think
Okay.
they would have sounded as good as Bethune, but I think Tennessee State would just had the better show. It just came down to that execution. Um,
Okay.
so, but yeah, always we've kind of had that thing where we've always wanted to pick on. If there was something to pick on Bethune with, it's because it's maybe they're the same, or maybe we've seen them so much that they're the model of consistency, and we want them to do like some more backflips or something, or some magic tricks or
Hmm.
something. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
that looks like that's kind of the room of the day. So I think we both agree. I just wish Tennessee State executed better because I think they would have won. You know what I mean? I think they would have done better. All
Okay.
right, all right. So the only thing I had what song I liked the most out of the fifth. Bethune Cookman played "Spend the Night." And I don't
Uh-huh.
know to spend the night. Whoa, 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 whoa. With me tonight. Whoa, whoa, whoa. But they were cracking that, yo. I'm getting crunk thinking about it. So yeah, that was really nice. So that was the song that probably jumped out to me the most. The sounded
Okay.
better part was the same. Like the band sounded the same in the stands that they did in on the field. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Right.
Bethune had that richer sound, so I had them. I felt far as range, I put range in here because I'm trying to see as far as a fifth who could win. Like what would jump out to you in a fifth to say somebody would win? And I'm thinking like maybe
Uh,
range or like the book. You know what I mean? Like if they're able to
right.
play like
Yeah.
marches or able to play a whole bunch of stuff other than just pop tunes. I think
Hmm.
Tennessee State had more of a little bit more of a range with them. Tennessee
Of,
State always
of
has,
course.
yeah, they always have a good book though. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, a fifth between. I'm not excited about a fifth between Tennessee State and Bethune Cookman because most of the songs Bethune Cookman is going to play are going to be songs they have been playing for 15 years. So yeah, they're not. That's not what they focus on. They focus on being executing very well. They don't focus on their book at all. So Tennessee State is always going to push the limit. Like they were the ones that did the James Bond opener years ago, and then they did the Star Trek one. So yeah, that without even watching it, I knew that I would say that Tennessee State had a better book.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, you were dead on with it. That's pretty much how it was. And then the only other thing too, Bethune, and I give them credit for it. Tennessee State was doing it too. I give them credit too. But they have their stand flashes down. You know what I mean? Like when
Okay.
they're in the stands, other than their book and just standing there cranking in the stands, they got like their dances and their flashes together. So they'll
Okay.
know when they are going to like swag surf or all of the woodwinds are going to do certain flashes on certain songs. So they have that together
Mm-hmm.
pretty decently. And Tennessee State, they did all
Mm-hmm.
right too. But I think I've noticed over the years Bethune has been consistent with that uniformity in the stands. So when they're doing something in the fifth, they gonna be having some actions. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be doing
Okay.
some flashes and dances. So
Mm-hmm.
they actually both were good at that. You're doing that, and
Mm-hmm.
then as far as who got like more house, I couldn't tell like who got more house. I know that a lot of people were clapping and like oh after they did the spend the night um, with from Bethune, but it was short.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like about like 19 minutes. So they played their songs and they got in and out. As far as who was better,
Right.
I can't really say who was better. I just know that Bethune sounded better, but Tennessee State had they had more slots in the chamber. You know what I mean? They
Right. Okay.
played. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? They played. A little bit more range of songs. All right,
Okay.
let me just double check the chat. Ain't nobody saying nothing in the chat room or anything. Now, all right, so yeah, let's go ahead and go to our next commercial break, and then we'll come back. Rashad will tell us what he thought about Southern and what we thought about A&T, and then if also you guys are in the chat room, feel free to leave your comments. We'll read them out there loud. You're listening to and you're watching the 90 Degree Show. We sure appreciate it. Thanks for watching and listening. And we'll be back here with our second segment here tonight on the show.
Your host, Joe Beard, and the 90 Degree Show will return in a moment.
The source for fair and factual information on your favorite college bands, blockusup.com. Well-written articles, in-depth band performance analysis, helpful resources for band directors, fun band-related topics, and exclusive interviews with some of today's brightest and most talented leaders of college marching bands. Visit us at blockusup.com, the meeting place for band fans and band directors.
And now, more of the 90 Degree Show with your host, Joe Beard.
All right, everyone, we are back and ready to talk in this next segment. So Rashad, like we said, he saw a couple bands I saw a couple myself too, but I guess the ones we got time to kind of focus on tonight, we'll talk about. A&T and Southern, so a couple of our premier programs. But don't you small bands don't trip because we'll be talking about you too this year. We make sure that I saw Fort Valley State last week against them against FAM. We're gonna make sure we talk about as many bands as possible and not just the major colleges and the major
Mhm.
programs to get more love to more programs. Okay. So Rashad,
Okay.
let's go ahead and start with A&T, man. What A&T game did you see? And what did you think about A&T?
I saw A&T versus Gardner Webb, and I didn't see Gardner Webb's band at all. I just saw A&T, and it was a pretty good performance, man. The name of their show was the Era of Bands, and what they were doing because A&T always does the theme, so they were doing a show dedicated to great bands like from the '70s, like Cameo and Gap Band and Earth, Wind and Fire.
Right.
So they started out with Boogie Wonderland. They had some really nice formations, some very nice chords. It was a nice little drum roll in between parts of that. It was very, very clean. And they had this real cool section where they did like a trill, and then the formation moved into the letters of A and T, which I thought, I mean, that was pretty cool how they did that. Some really nice counter melodies in there. And then, as usual, they brought out Cold Steel, as they do. Um, it was a cool feature. My only issue with it is that the Winds were continuing to play, and they were doing like their own thing, completely opposite of the percussion section. And I get it because most of us are not percussionists, and so it's good for us just to look at the percussion anyway. We don't know if that was good or not, but
All right.
um, the two parts of the two halves could have come together better. Like there could have been breaks in the wind music so that when a bass drum feature is happening, you can really hear it. Now pop back to the winds. I think if they do that, I think those features will be even better. But there was no doubt that they were playing really well. Their Dance Girl song was a song by Cameo, Nights by Night, and there's a part in there that was like I mean, and they played that, man.
Yeah.
Trombones and everything. Trombones weren't playing chords. They were moving them slides, man.
We played that.
Uh,
We played that run too at Jackson State. Nights by
nice.
nights. Digga 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 digga.
It's such a
Whoa whoa
great
whoa whoa
song.
whoa
It's,
whoa
that song
what?
is
Oh
so bandable.
whoa yeah. I almost lost it there. I almost lost it. I almost whoa yeah that took me back.
There you go. Ba-da, ba-da,
Yeah yeah.
ba-da, ba-da.
There you go.
I
Yeah.
never had the opportunity to play that song, but I would have loved to.
Yeah. It's a nice little headbanger there. You know what I'm saying?
There's a nice mellophone counter melodies going on there. Golden Delight came out there, man, and they did a great routine. And I'm not really big on somersaults and gymnastics for dancers, but doggone it, if they didn't hit these somersaults and this girl, I don't know, it didn't even look like she prepped. She just flipped. she just, it was like somebody was underneath her, underneath the field, and just threw her back. God, it was just an amazing backflip that she did. Then they did. They didn't have another band, so they were able to do a whole 11-minute show. They did a meeting in my bedroom, and they had some nice 30-second notes. They were like da 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 da. No, it was da 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 da. I was like,
Oh
ooh,
wow.
it was beautiful. And of course, they did. Bedroom, bedroom, bedroom. You know,
Right.
uh, they just need a little bit. Somebody else needs to be up there with those first trumpets in order to bring that through. Um, and I wish that song they did a modulation at the very end of the song, but I wish that was part of the song, like after they came back from like the B section to come go into the modulation instead of modulate and take it out. That was my only thing. Um, and then they did a dance routine. That was like the low part of the show. Dance routine overall was really good, but by the time they got to the end of the dance routine, they didn't push through. They kind of ran out of energy a little bit. But then they didn't allow that to be the climax. Then they did these core style type of maneuvers where they took like patterns of four people and rotated them around really quickly. And then the climax was they made this large arc at the end, and the crowd was really excited about that. And they played some Earth, Wind and Fire song at the end of that, and it was a great show, man. It was a really good show from top to bottom. So after I get finished talking with Southern, I'll let you know how the two of them compare to me.
Okay. Okay. That's what's up, man. So I guess we can get into that. I guess. Well, let me ask you this: what
Uh-huh.
matchup do you think will be really good for A&T this year? So you seen A&T. Who do you really want A&T to go up with? Do you think?
I mean, that's going to be A&T and Norfolk all the time because they're very similar in style right now. And so I would love to see them match up, and probably A&T and Jackson State, particularly in the stands. I did see a little bit of Jackson State from last week. Their tuba section sounds amazing, and they
Yes,
are
they do.
so clean.
Yes, they
They played
do.
an arrangement of Circle of Life. I'm sitting there
Yes.
like, what do you do? Like when somebody plays that at you, what do you do? Like they took a Disney song. If you were in a core style band, you're like, man, we played the stupid Circle of Life, man. They just played Night by Night, and we're gonna play Circle of
Right,
Life. Like
right,
you would be
right.
complaining about that, but they took Circle of Life and made it awesome.
Yeah,
So Jackson State versus A&T, I think would be a good battle as well. But I think mainly A&T at Norfolk.
I
But
remember.
honestly, well, I'll wait till after I talk about Southern.
Okay, okay. I was gonna say I remember. I think in '98, I think that was we played because, like you say, trying to add some variety to the book. They passed
Mm,
out. What was it? Somewhere over the rainbow. So
mm,
somewhere over the rainbow. We we were like, dude, we are all quitting this band if you pass out something crazy like that to us again. You know what I'm saying? Like we were determined we were never ever going to play this song. And we were gonna protest and we were gonna be like, man, we are not trying to play this kind of garbage. But I
uh,
think I remember Doc or I think uh, shout out to Pop, Mr. Duplessis. He's basically saying if we had the confidence behind the song, like we could sell it. Like if we went
right.
out and we said, "Hey man, like this is something like what we trying to throw at you and you can't throw it back. We showing our range. This is gonna be dope." So
Mm-hmm.
it took it took us 2 weeks to play that song because that first
Mm-hmm.
week they pulled it out. We were supposed to play it that weekend, but people it was hard for people. We were stubborn about it, and we were like, "Man, hey,
Right.
we're
Mm-hmm.
not
Yeah,
about
of
to play
course.
this song, right?" So the next
Mm-hmm.
week, once people started knowing it, and once that confidence is a real difference too. Once you memorize something and you got it memorized, and you know what I'm saying, you in the stands wilding out, it's a whole difference. And we actually got really, really good playing somewhere over the rainbow. We crunk it up a couple times and got a lot of good responses from a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
crowds that we played. So that made me think of that song. You know what I'm saying? Because we did not want to play it.
A&T had a concept back in the 2000s that they called that non-returnables.
Non-returnables.
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, because you play a song, and if the person that you're
Oh,
playing, the band that you're playing, if they don't have the book, they don't have
nice.
anything they can play against it.
Non-returnables. We might have to bring that back, yo. We might have to bring the
Hmm.
non-returnables. We gonna give it a quick little
It
shout out there for the non-returnables. Good lingo here on the Market Podcast Network.
And now,
Oh my bad. All right, yeah, my bad. My bad. Yeah. So that's what's up, man. I like that. Non-returnables. That's what's up. So
it's
go ahead, Rashad.
It's funny because the greatest example of that, and again, the reason why I say A&T and Norfolk is such a matchup because the very best matchup between those two bands was 2000 at Aggie Stadium when they cut the lights off and they had fireworks. And they were both, and A&T was doing non-returnables. And Norfolk State just might play anything. They take any song and turn it into a non-returnable. And they played something, and A&T played Cold Hearted Snake back at them. Like, yeah, it was a non-returnable right there. Like, you really? You played Cold Hearted Snake against that? Okay.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy, man. And it's funny because I'm glad now that that's one thing that I have learned in doing the show is that um, I didn't know that I was so green about Norfolk, no pun intended, but I didn't know Norfolk was so dominant. Like I didn't know that program was so dope like that because a lot I guess when I was in the 90s. Well, remember we couldn't see too much of other people. Like this is all new where everybody can see each other cuz we didn't have YouTube and all of that. But
Well, I'm not gonna let you call them dominant. They were
oh,
really
I'm
good.
sorry.
A&T's
Right,
really good.
right.
I mean, Norfolk is really good, but don't get it twisted to say that they're running anything.
Oh, right. My bad. My bad. Hold on. Let me go ahead. So yeah, my bad with that. But as far as like, I was just, I guess I'm impressed with the program, and that's just something new
Hmm.
for me where I wasn't exposed to that. I knew about FAM, I knew about Jackson State, I knew about Southern, but that was pretty much it. Then when I went to Smith, I learned about A&T,
Hmm.
but not so much Norfolk. But over these last couple of years, Norfolk is pretty much back. So like
Right.
now, like they look really good. So it's good to see that. Shout out to my frat brother Rashad. Um, Rashad, he's not Rashad, but it's Rashawn. So like you're Rashad and he's Rashad. So it's like
Okay.
Rushan. So yeah, it's hard. I'd be like Rashad, both of y'all. But he
Right.
went to he's from out here in California, and he went to Norfolk State. And I remember I was talking to him last week about Virginia State and Norfolk in the fight, and he was, oh yeah, Spartan Legion, man. Like, you don't mess with them. Like, what I'm saying, clear out the way. You know what I'm saying? So that was something
Hmm.
I was like, dude, I didn't even know anything about that. So. It's real good getting that exposure. So real quick, man, go ahead and talk about Southern. We'll hit a
Okay.
break, and then we'll come back, and I guess we can compare the two, and then we'll probably do another break, and then close it out. Maybe some matchups we looking forward to um, in the future. Real quick though, I just forgot about it. I should have probably brought the show in. We would, I'm sure, be talking about Jackson State and Tennessee State tonight, but it was lightning. The game was
Hmm.
postponed or canceled because of lightning, and it doesn't look like even the bands were out, allowed to go out there. So we don't have Southern Heritage Classic for 2018. We'll just have to wait for next year for that. All right. So Rashad, man, what you think about Southern, man?
Oh, so starting from the beginning, man. Southern is Southern. They are amazing band. I mean, a couple of years ago, they had a flood to go through. They came up to the Queen City Battle of the Bands. No change in their performance. Now they've lost their band director right in the middle of the season. Big controversy. Southern is still Southern. It's amazing, man. That program is so consistent, man. It seems like they can weather the storm on anything. The show started out with a great drum major entrance. I mean, they nailed that. It's so amazing, and it's so interesting to see how they compare because you see Tennessee State, they put their heads back, but they got their shakos on, and they use their maces to hold themselves up as they're going back. Bethune Cookman does it, and they go back. They don't use their maces, but then they use their maces in order to help themselves back up. Versus this guy at Southern, I mean, he's twisting and turning and he's defying gravity and putting his head all the way back up and coming up on his own. It's good every time, except when it's not. But other than that, it's good every time. And there was so much sound from this band. I saw the show 2 times. So the initial one that I saw was from the back. And they sound just like they do from the front. They sound like most bands do from the front. I mean, it was so much sound bouncing off of that stadium. It was just amazing. And they sounded great from the front, too. Their drill song was I think it was a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I think that's what it was. But it sounded good. Only thing, of course, you lost them. You lost a lot of that sound because they were drilling to the end zones. They were doing a what is it? The step twos, and it's interesting because there's been a small controversy because someone is saying that like last week they introduced it as their brand new drill that they're doing, and was the exact same drill that your alma mater did. I don't know if you saw that,
I
Joe.
saw that. I saw that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually saw and watched that, and it was halfway. Like, am I watching this like for real? Is this like serious? But yeah, that was actually real. Two drone
Hmm.
pictures.
Exactly. But here's the thing, though. I hate to say it, but Southern did it better.
Hold up now. Hold up now. Hold up now.
I mean, if you're gonna steal it, at least do a better job of it, and they did. I'm not to take anything away from Jackson. Jackson didn't do a bad job of it, but Southern's lines are much more on point when they hit things. Now Southern wasn't perfect either, but still they look pretty doggone good. Of course, they have great knee lift and everything, and they just look really good. The Dancing Dolls came out there and they did their thing, and they were very, very classy. I always love to see them. You don't ever see them like twerking the pelvis or doing anything that's sexualized. Like they're always so classy, and I love the Dancing Dolls. And they did a great dance routine. I'm talking about the whole band. Great dance routine with them doing the kiki, and then of course the crowd went crazy when they get the chicken kick, as you call it.
Yeah.
So the crowd loved this show. So overall, it was a great show. It wasn't the best performance I've seen from Southern, but it was it was a good representation of them at the very beginning of the season. I mean, because what are you looking for? You want your drum majors to be on point. You want your marching to be on point. You want to sound good. You want to be powerful. You want the dolls to sound good. You want to do a good dance routine. They checked all the boxes. Now, could the show have been more creative? Yeah, and I'm sure it will be more creative as the year goes on.
All right.
That's it.
Okay. All right. So, and you guys, I guess I'll give a little disclaimer here. You guys are getting a little taste of like a little prunalysis action here. We'll probably be doing some prunalysis things. Prunalysis, for all the people who don't know, this would be the audio podcast for Prune Juice himself, aka Rashad. Rashad is like Prune Juice, the Prune Juice personality on the Fifth Quarter. Shout out to the Fifth Quarter, and them retiring and everything. But Rashad used to get on the forum then and then give a take like what you guys are listening to now on the forum. So, people would read, what we had to say. And so now when we met and we got it now, we put it in podcast form, video blog, whatever you call it. So we'll be doing those, and you'll be hearing a lot of those throughout the year. It's another show, another thing we'll be bringing onto the network. So a lot of the sounds will be different, too, a lot of the transitions. So you guys check that out. We hear a little bit of Rashad, his expertise. All right, so you guys we heard a little bit about Southern. We heard a little bit about A&T. Let's take another commercial break, and we'll come back and we'll see. Let's say maybe A&T and Southern had a clash this year. Maybe we'll get a little prunalysis of what Rashad think will happen between the two. Shout out to the people in the chat room. Let me read the little chin. Got my little tablet here. We got a Jerome 287 in the chat room. Shout out to you. Thanks for following along. And Geronimo 287. I like that. Geronimo. That's tight. Geronimo 287. Yeah, the book Patterns in Motion. So A1 Story, shout out to you, man. He was here last week, and he was talking about some of the drills. A lot of the drills that we talking about are from the book Patterns in Motion. That is correct. A lot of those Big Ten bands and a lot of things history we talked about at the network were from those Patterns of Motion. So that's what's up. Geronimo 287 said that it's gonna be a band battle between A&T and Norfolk for their homecoming. What's that? G-Ho is the A&T homecoming, right?
Right.
Yeah. So
really?
It looks like there'll be a battle of the bands between you. You're getting it live here, everybody. You're getting the live news here on the March Podcast Network. So that's a little something here. But yeah, they both agree with us. So shout out to you guys for listening. We'll go to our commercial break here. We'll get between, let's say A&T, like I say, A&T and Southern mix up. What do we get a prunalysis of those two? You listen to the 90 Degree Show. Thanks for listening. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Your host, Joe Beard, and the 90 Degree Show will return in a moment.
Hello, everyone. This is Joe Beard from the Marching Podcast. Is your school, club, or organization looking for high-quality decorated apparel to outfit your students, staff, club, or team? Tired of the same old boring white t-shirt? Are you in charge of the upcoming fundraiser or special event, but don't really have time to troll the internet for ideas or compare products? SAY can help with design and product selection. We can even assist with ideas on conducting an effective fundraising program. SAY can help you save time and get your message heard. So call 1-800-975-3156. SAY Marketing and Promotions.
Give your brand a voice.
And now, more of the 90 Degree Show with your host, Joe Beard.
All right, we are back. You got my message, man?
I did. I did.
Okay. Okay, yeah,
Just,
yeah.
commercial breaks are so short now, man. You can't even get a good bathroom break in.
I know, man. I know. But hey, like you say, we still learning. Shout out to all the folks
Oh,
that's
you
learning
heard me
with us.
singing, didn't you?
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit, Rashad. We little fun. Shout out to you, man. I appreciate that. Now, you sounded good, brother. You sounded good.
I need to contact that company, man. That's free marketing because they paid you, they didn't pay me. So yeah,
Right.
SAY, y'all need to go ahead and throw some ducats.
Right. Yeah, man. So yeah, just we still learning. We still learning all the procedures and all that stuff. Last week we didn't even have sound. So hey, now we got a little sound now, and so we don't know how to act. But yeah, we learning. We'll get better and better. But shout out to the real fans of the show that's not hating on us. You know what I'm saying? All right. So real quick, man. Rashad had a little comparative analysis, little analysis here with A&T
Mhm.
and Southern. So we saw them, and we'll be talking about, I'm sure, this year. But let's say if they matched up, let's say maybe that is the Celebration Bowl coming up here this year with Southern and A&T.
Mhm.
What do you think comparing wise between the two schools, Rashad? What do you
Okay.
think? I guess what would you think would happen if they matched up?
Southern has an advantage in one place, and that's power, and that's hard to beat. We've seen that at the Queen City Battle of the Bands. I think it was 2 years ago. I personally thought that Bethune Cookman and Tennessee State were better bands, but Southern pretty much took over as far as the crowd was concerned because you just can't match them when it comes to power. And so it is hard to compete against them for the crowd because the crowd gets so excited about that. But pretty much when it comes to everything else, A&T is the best band I've seen this year. And I know I'm gonna get some
Wow.
boos and some hatred going on here, but from a musician standpoint and knowing what I'm listening to and knowing what I'm looking at, A&T is amazing, man. I mean, I'm gonna start with I didn't even mention their formations, like that opening formation that they did. Like you just talked about, oh, a lot of bands are doing patterns in motion, and here you go with two bands that are doing the exact same drill. You don't have that problem with A&T. They started out with a formation that was so interesting to look at, and then their closing formation, the slow song formation was interesting to look at, and then they did the other formations at the end I was telling about with the 4 person thing, and then they made the huge like arc at the end. Like their formations were just interesting to look at. No, they didn't drill as well as Southern, but we've seen step twos for 50 years. It was just so interesting to see the things they were doing. They featured their percussion section, and their percussion section is amazing. Southern, just by nature, is always going to be very simplistic in what's happening with the percussion section. Like generally on the field, you're going to hear a lot of 2 and 4. You're going to hear cat-tum boom, cat-tum, and that's it because they want the winds to come through, and that's just what they do. But if you're going to compare the two, you got to give credit for A&T doing a very difficult percussion feature, not just for their feature, but all the way through the show, the percussion parts are very tough. You're hearing a lot of stuff, and they're good at it. Um, the Dolls did a really great job, but Golden Delight was amazing. like I literally stopped the video and went back and watched their performance again before I finished watching because Golden Delight was just so amazing to watch. And the only thing lacking was the dance routine. The Southern's dance routine was better, but A&T's wasn't bad. It just lost energy at the end. And then the fact that A&T ended with the climax overall, and the difficulty level of the music. It was so many runs and so much good playing and control with A&T. They are, I mean, much better than Bethune, much better than Tennessee State, much better than Miles, better than Alabama A&M, much better than Southern. Interesting to see them against Jackson State because I only saw Jackson State in the stands. So yeah, right now for bands I've seen on the field, it's A&T hands down.
Okay. A couple of people in the chat rooms, little saying something here.
Of course.
Just a man, just a man. I'm just a man. That's an old Nate Dogg song. I don't know if he's from the West Coast, but that's dope. Just a man. He said A&T Drumline. Excuse me. He said A&T Drumline's got that smoke. That's what he said.
Hmm.
And then he said SU Drumline, and my man got the down emoji. My man got the thumb down emoji. So he straight up there. He said Southern Drumline. Who So that's what's up, man. Wow, I'm interested. So do you think? So I get like you said, the power or whatnot. But I guess who do you think is? Oh, wow. So who? Well, I guess I agree with you. A&T's probably gonna be better on the field. Well,
Let me also say real quick, Joe.
that's a
One
tough
big
one.
difference I forgot to mention is the fact that they do A&T does what you like, which is they face the front
They
all the
do.
time.
They
So
do.
that actually makes a difference because Southern is much more powerful. But for half their show, you're going to lose that power.
They are. So who do you
Hmm.
think is gonna be better on the halftime, just for layman's, and then who do you think would be better? Let's say if it was a fifth.
I think it's possible for A&T to pull it off. I wish that I had seen them back to back so I could really understand the difference in power. But I think A&T could pull it off for layman's as well. It was just a really good show. Granted, to be fair, A&T didn't have an opposing band, so they were able to do an 11-minute show, which allowed them to do the arc at the end and do the slow song. Whereas Southern did a 6-minute show or a 6 or 7 minute show, so they didn't have time for all of that. But just trying to compare only a drill, a dance girl song, and a dance routine. I still think A&T could pull it off as far as layman's are concerned. For musicians, hands down, A&T.
Okay. We just had somebody in the chat room, Hassan Austin. Shout out to you, Hassan. Basically had that question. Who would how would the stands go between A&T and Southern?
I have no idea because I haven't seen either one of them in the stands. And they have, Aaron Campbell is back at A&T right now
Mm-hmm.
because Dr. Jones left and went to Hampton. Of course, that happened last year, but we know that the focus of A&T in the recent years has been the field. And they have
Yes.
been getting kind of beat down a little bit in the stands, which wasn't traditionally them. And Aaron Campbell is A&T traditionalist, so A&T performing well in the stands is very important to him. So last year, yeah, it would have been easy. Southern would take that battle easily. Well, not last year, but the year before. But now I don't know. I really need to see both bands to be able to make that call.
That's interesting. Just a man in the chat room said that he thinks that A&T would do better in both the stands and on the field. I think on the field, it's without question. Like A&T is probably the one of the better programs that we have. Like the best halftime show performing band that we have. So it's definitely on the field. But in the stands, man, that just seems Suts in the stands. That's like Southern's wheelhouse. It's like Southern. You go to Southern to wait to play somebody in the fifth. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like you go to Southern just to like blow somebody's brains out on the other side of the field.
Hmm.
So I think they would. I ain't gonna lie, man. I think they would clean them out, especially the last fifth I saw A&T with was, man. They were so tired at the Celebration Bowl. I think they
Hmm.
had the Celebration Bowl, and they were so tired. They were literally ready to go home, and they
Hmm.
just looked bad. And I'm trying to think if Southern was tired, or if one of them other like Prairie View was tired or something like that, if they would have given more in the stands because that's their forte. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But I don't know. Sometimes I feel like A&T can probably give a pass on the stands, man. I don't think I don't think they want that with Southern. Of course, that's just my personal opinion.
Hmm.
Um, of course, a little chat going on in the chat room. And Just a Man said, he said, okay, well, SU will grab the crowd and they would push wigs back with their power, touch those with their cords. So yeah, they're having a little having a little discussion in the chat room. If you guys are watching the show,
Hmm.
you guys go ahead and give your 2 cents in the chat room and we'll read them for you here. But yeah,
I mean,
so I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rashad.
I was saying, I'm thinking about it running it through my head some more. Like again, there's that power thing, but the fact that A&T's secret weapon in that situation is Cold Steel because it's such a change to the show.
Mm-hmm.
If you're comparing sound versus sound, and then right in the middle of it, you take out the winds and you really bring out your percussion section, and they're doing something that's interesting. It now changes that. It allows you to it changes the battle basically. It's like, oh well,
Right.
how do you can't out loud a percussion section. You know what I mean?
Right.
So and again, and with Southern losing their sound for half their show. I mean, granted, when they're facing you, they're gonna pull your wigs back, but other than that, they're gonna lose their sound. So I'm thinking more and more that A&T it would be able to do that on the field. I'm becoming more confident about that for the
Yeah.
layman's. I think.
Yeah, I would. I mean, it's something I would like to see, and I would like to see Southern do like a really, really good halftime show because their drill is gonna be off the chain, right? Like I think
Hmm.
Southern can drill really good. Like maybe they might have a better drill than A&T, but I would like to then see like how they end the show. Are they gonna do the boxes? You know what I'm saying? Like how with Southern, how they gonna finish out the show? Because that's kind of the part where maybe you can kind of slip in and beat them where they might do something basic like the boxes or something that doesn't get a lot of crowd attention. You know what I mean?
I think the
Um,
boxes is always awesome,
yeah.
honestly.
Do you like the you always like the boxes? It'd be
Hmm.
exciting. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I always it's kind of like with
You
Bethune. I
you've
want
seen
them to
it
more.
57 times, so it don't
Well,
excite
right.
you no
Well,
more.
right. Exactly. Well, that's
And
what's
that's
up,
the thing.
Rashad.
Again, that's what you can look at with Southern is that everything Southern's going to do, you pretty much have seen it. If they're going to do the star, if they're going to do the like the flower type of thing, if they're going to do the halftime score, pretty much. I mean, every now and then they come out with something we haven't seen, but for the most part, they're going to pretty much do stuff that we've seen before.
Right.
Versus A&T, it's probably going to do something that you have like I've never seen that ever.
Right. That's what's up, man.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, good talk, good topic here. Let's go ahead and take another commercial break. Our last commercial break. I do want to give a shout out to a Thomas Ogden, out in Dallas. He watched the show last week. Well, hold on. Let me give a shout out to you, Thomas. Let me just go ahead and give you a shout out here. Give Thomas a shout out there in Dallas. Making some good food, making some good ribs down there in Dallas. But he was watching the show last week, and he contacted somebody from the network and said that hey, they would like to be a sponsor to the network. So we will have more information from Thomas Ogden. Shout out to him. Appreciate the support. And we will have another sponsor bringing in here on the 90 Degree Show. So you guys looking down there at the lower third, you see all of those outstanding sponsorships going on there at the ticker. You will then eventually then see Thomas and his barbecue and restaurant down there in Dallas. So you shout out to him. Shout out to support. Is already really excited about working with him and getting some stuff going on. So shout out to him. And like I say, this will be our last commercial break. We'll come back, maybe preview some other things before we sign off for the day. You're listening to the 90 Degree Show, Volume 2, 2018. Thanks again for listening. And Rashad, you probably got to mute your mic, brother. You know what I'm saying,
Give
brother?
your brand a heart.
Your host, Joe Beard, and the 90 Degree Show will return in a moment.
If you're thinking about buying or selling real estate in the Southern California area, please contact Kevin Pete of Remax Patriots. He will meet and exceed all of your needs. You can contact Kevin at 951 858 5942. That's 951 858 5942. Or you can email Kevin at kpsaleshomes at sbcglobal.net. That's KP, his initials, Kevin Pete, KP Sales Homes, all one word, at sbcglobal.net. Thanks again.
And now, more of the 90 Degree Show with your host, Joe Beard.
All right, we are back. Again, a shout out to all the people that are listening and supporting. Had some in the chat room. I was gonna ask you, Rashad, about maybe some matchups that you were looking forward to this year, or looking forward to some stuff coming up to this year. You already said Norfolk and A&T. I'm actually looking forward to that this year since we've seen both bands. We know that both of them are gonna be good. A couple
Mm-hmm.
people in the chat room said, well, Hassan, Austin, and Just a Man. They said that Southern plays Langston this year. And Just a Man said Langston has a band staff and they finally got some numbers. Now, this is a trip to me because, hey, I think I know all the, I think it's 107 HBCUs. I think I'm familiar with them and familiar with
Mm-hmm.
who has bands. And I've never tripped that Langston actually had a band. Now, I'm sure, excuse me, Langston heads, I'm sure you got a rich tradition. So excuse me if I don't know about the band, but it looks like some folks might be excited about Southern playing Langston this upcoming weekend. So
Okay.
yeah, hopefully we might have some of that. We might shout out to Garrett Edgerson. I'm sure that they'll be filming, their opponent and all the stuff. So we may have to check them out. Rashad, did you have any matchups that you looking forward to this year, or any bands that you're excited about?
I am really excited about Jackson State. I'm trying not to let other people's enthusiasm wear on me because people say, "Oh, Jackson State sounds amazing," and I'm trying to, all right, let me just block that out. Let me hear it for myself. But what I've heard of them, their tubas sound like better than almost any other tubas that I'm hearing. Like they have like FAMU type of tubas. Like it's full, it's huge type of sound. Like they don't sound like ducks. Like most of our tuba sections sound like ducks, like, like a really big bass duck. But Jackson State's tuba section, they finally got it right, man, and they sound just so really big underneath their band. So I really can't wait to see them match up against nearly anybody, particularly Southern. I'm interested to see what that halftime show is going to look like. There's going to be a bunch of junk talking on the field. It's going to be bad. It's going to be particularly the way. Let me see here. Jackson. They both bands talked about each other because Jackson did the video with Southern people falling down and
Yeah,
stuff,
they did.
and then Southern did something as well. So yeah, it's going to be bad.
Sorry, I was testing out my little turn up. That's my little turn up thing, y'all. All you listeners, that's my turn up. So yeah, Jackson State Southern's gonna be a turn up. What was that, Boombox? I don't know what it is. Boombox 2018, definitely. We'll be looking forward to that. Any other thing? Any other bands that you looking forward, or any other programs that you maybe wanna maybe highlight here in a second?
Virginia Union actually. Again, full disclosure, Virginia Union is a regular customer of Block Bands, and we didn't do a new show for them this year. However, I was listening to them, and they actually are playing music that we had written for them already. So I was like, "Oh, cool!" And like last year, they did the what is it, the Wild Thoughts, and they played it so fast, and it was like they were so clean with everything on that. Wild Thoughts based off of Maria from back in the day. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's how you getting old, when a song come on the radio. And you be like, oh, there goes Carlos Santana. And then
Exactly.
wow, wow. And I was like, what? Wild Thoughts? I've done that for a couple songs now. Like it's getting to the point where the songs that when we were like in high school, when we were younger, like those songs came out, people are actually remaking those songs now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because actually Maria was actually based off of something else.
Right. So it's just like, dang. So that was like new for us when Carlos Santana came out with it. Now somebody done flipped Carlos's flip. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So they're just a really good band, and they don't get the opportunity to really shine as much because they're so small. And there's always an interesting battle between them and Virginia State because both bands dance a lot. So they'll play. And then, in particular, Virginia State, like they tend to match up like in the field sometimes, like at a battle of the bands. And Virginia State will just be dancing hard, like in between songs, like man, like gosh, and both drum lines are really good. So that's always a good matchup to see those two bands.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Um, I'm not gonna lie. I'm interested to see Gremlin this year. I saw Gremlin. I think a video of them playing a song. I think from like week one, and it
Hmm.
spread really. A lot of people like were talking about it. So I'm kind of look interested to see what they're gonna do. They
Hmm.
also are have a new band director. They don't have their
Right.
band director from last year, so maybe that maybe there's something going on with that. Maybe the kids are excited about having some new leadership. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
They are interested. I'm interested in Kentucky State because I remember you last year, Rashad, when we were doing the show over there at NBC Sports, that was like one of your bands that you were looking forward to. Like, hey, maybe this band should be in the Honda because I think we were talking about bands
Hmm.
that we may. So I remember you said Kentucky State was on the come up, and I like smaller bands. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Hmm.
I think Fort Valley State is on the come up. They look decent against fam. It's just a lot that they probably need to clean up. Um,
Hmm.
so I would, I'm kind of interested to see if they blow up. Of course, I'm interested to see as far as matchup wise, Jackson State against Alabama A&M. For me, that's just gonna be as big as Southern to me because I think Alabama A&M, as much as power is concerned, is articulate and clean. Do you know what I mean? Like as
Hmm.
far as Southern, if
Yes.
you equate power, A&M is like clean right now. And they
Yeah. They're
sound
beautiful
good,
sound.
man, and they coming with it. They friends of the show, so you know what I'm saying. They got like a
Hmm.
good edge with them. So
Right.
I'm like interested to definitely see Jackson State, Alabama A&M, and it was good last year. It was good last
Hmm.
year, but I'm interested to see them this upcoming this year. Any CIAA school, of course. Hopefully Johnson C. Smith is getting it together. I'm a fan
Hmm.
just because I marched there, and I always hope that they get it together. But
Right.
Norfolk, I think, does Norfolk play Florida A&M too?
I don't ever see them. They don't ever see each other really. I think they've seen each other like once in the last couple of years.
Because not everybody in the MEAC gets a chance to play each other, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a real separation right there
right,
between like South Carolina and like everybody north of that.
right, right. So I mean, it would be good for those two to match up. I remember Savannah State a couple years ago. I was all excited about them. I wonder how they look now. And of course,
Yeah,
Morgan. Shout out to Bridget. Those bands
right.
smaller, but were coming with something. So I'm
And
interested to
it's
see how they look.
definitely interested to see what Hampton sounds like. I saw them a little bit earlier this year, and you can tell there's something like they're coming up. The music that Dr. Thomas writes is very tough, very tough. It was very tough for A&T. They had to spend hours getting that stuff right. So I know that being the case, it's going to take a second for Hampton to really get where they want to be. So I think this year will be a decent year. Plus, they're not going to have any battles. Like I'm not sure if Tennessee State is going over there. I think it's Tennessee State coming to Hampton or something, or I don't know. I don't think they're going to see each other. So without having the battles, like I was talking about at the beginning,
Hmm.
it's kind of hard to really grow like you want to. But I'll be interested to see what Dr. Thomas is capable of. We all call him by his first name because Thomas sounds like a last name. But I'd be very interested to see what he's able to accomplish with them by the end of the year because they had a very strong performance at Honda
Yeah,
this past year,
they did.
this year.
Yeah, we talk. I
Hmm.
think we talked about it a little bit, but yeah, I'm pulling for him. Just because it's a program, and I'm pulling for Dr. Thomas, like as you say. I think that he seems to be doing a good job, and I like the fact that he's coming out on social media. I remember when I saw, I guess he was like videotaping A&T games. I was trying to like catch up with him to be on the show, and he kind of was on social media just to kind of show A&T. But now he's really on social media now, pubbing the program. So that's cool to
Right.
see.
Hmm.
I like it's cool. It's cool to see when directors come out. You know what I'm saying, and try to get on and say, hey, you guys follow us and do all that. I know Miles is trying to do that. I know Brother Snipes said that he wants to try to get more involved with social media, but they make sure the parameters and like legal issues and all that stuff is all ironed out. So I like seeing that. Good luck to him, and good luck to I'm sorry, good luck to, but I want to see Central. I would like to see Delenn, TD Holland. Shout out to Delenn. I want to see what Central is about this year. I didn't get a chance to see them against Prairie View. I probably need to take a chance to look at that, but I would like to see how Central is. Did you get a chance to see Central this year? Will we talk about Central? No, I think
Yeah, talk about Central at
all. But yeah, that's just something on the radar. All right, Rashad, anything else, man? Anything else that you had on your mind or something else that you kind of wanted to get out the podcast, or you got a little time before we close out? How you feel, man? What's going on?
Well, those of you who know me, of course, I have two companies. So we have Block Band Music and Publishing, where we provide music and instruments to marching bands all across the nation. We provided all of the drum heads for Alabama A&M this year. We did. It looks apparently all the music for Virginia State, Virginia Union this year, as well as last year. So we've got tons of everything that you need. We got spats, shoes, gloves, and mouthpieces, and reeds, and drumsticks, and drum heads, and everything. Music. And plus there's color commentary, where we give you views from a different side. This, of course, is my show where we talk about movies and TV shows. So make sure to check us out on YouTube and Facebook under color commentary.
So you say y'all two, you get just two from the video. You don't see me. That's right. You don't see me, but you got 2 and 2. That's what's up. That's like
views from a different side.
Right, views from a different side. That's kind of like how my man Chuck Woolery used to do. You remember the dating game? You remember that show?
Right, we give you 2 and 2.
Yeah, we'll be 2 and 2. There you go. So that's what's up, man. Glad to have you on the show another year, Rashad. You do a really good job, and you really should be commended. Here, let me go ahead and just give you a little props here to people. But I really like color commentary, man. You do a lot with the visual effects. And one thing I think I told you it was cool, but you sometimes will like be talking, and then the angle of like the movie you talk about will like be in the corner. You know what I'm saying? So like you guys will be talking, and then like Captain America will be like, hitting somebody. And I'll be like, oh, that's tight. I like how you weave that in there. So shout out to you, man.
That's credit to the guys. That's Danny. He's our editor that does that. I can't take any of the credit.
Danny, I'm about to say Danny's the one with the glasses. Both of them, all y'all got glasses. But Danny's the one with the long hair. Danny's the one with the long hair.
No, Danny's bald.
The bald. I'm sorry, the bald head. That's what I meant to say. The bald head. Yeah. So that's what's up, man. Shout out to you. I guess for me and the Marching Podcast, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. Keep following the show. We still working this stuff out with YouTube and the streaming and all of that, but we will consistently be on here Mondays at 9:30 Eastern. Bridget, I'm sure will be back with us next week, and we'll have a lot more matchups to talk about, because things will get back to normal as far as interconference, intercollegiate division matchups and plays and stuff. But we really appreciate all the love and support. And shout out to the guys in the chat room. Appreciate you guys participating in the show tonight. Geronimo, Hassan, Just a Man. Oh, look, Andrea Snell showed up. You remember Andrea? She was on the show a couple times last year. Boom alumni.
Oh.
I think like 87. Shout out to her. She just said, hey, Joe. Hey, Andrea. Shout out to you. But yeah, as this time go, I'm sure we'll grow and we'll got more stuff. But again, I appreciate you guys listening and watching. If you're interested in becoming a patron or a sponsor to the Marching Podcast, contact the show and we'll give you the criteria so we can start to pub your business using our platform. We'll play your commercial. We'll get the little ticket down here. Let me go back to the other camera right quick. So y'all see that stuff down at the bottom? That could be your business. Look at that down there. See, meeting place for band fans and band directors, Remax Patriots, Block Band Music, these outstanding. You see Rashad there reading the ticket for you from the camera side. Outstanding. But that could be your business down there. So contact us and we will hook you up and give you as much platform as possible as we continue to grow our craft. Rashad, anything else to say before we sign out, brother?
That's it, bro.
All right. Well, thanks again for listening. Come to the end of our podcast. Check out the website and donate what's in your heart to the Marching Podcast. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Thanks to you for listening. And remember, the lectures you deliver may be very fine and true, but I'd rather get my lesson in observing what you do. See you next time.
And that's it for the 90 Degree Show for this week. Tune in next week with Joe Beard, where the marching band battles continue.